Hello everyone and welcome back to more Banjo-Kazooie. And in this episode we're going to be making our way over to Bubblegloop Swamp. Last time we pretty much finished off Clanker's Cavern, collected everything to 100%. But from here is where the episodes are going to be slightly different compared to the other ones. Because what mainly happened is in the other ones, the episode opened up and I just went straight on to the world in the next episode. But for now, that's not really going to happen. If I were to finish the later worlds, the videos would go up to, let's say, around 28 or over half an hour videos. And like I said before, for a game like Banjo-Kazooie, you don't really want that to happen. So starting from Bubblegloop Swamp, what it's mainly going to be is part 1 and then part 2 of it. I'm hoping that for now, the worlds will only be beaten in 2 parts. I don't really want them to go on for, say, like 5 parts or anything. I really want to save that for the last world that we get to. But, you know, I'm just giving you a little bit of a heads up or so when we get to it. I will be showing off a lot of things to do, though, before going into Bubblegloop Swamp. Because there's a lot of things that lie around Gruntilda's lair, like Gruntilda right here. My fat old sister's favourite sport is broomstick racing. Oh, wow, is it really? I'm still here, I watch you play. But I can't think with much to say. Neither can I, Gruntilda, it's hard. Although she's dim, she attended St. Dungball's school. This is why I hate slow dialogue. You won't believe that Gruntilda's party trick is blowing balloons up with her butt. Now, a fun little fact about that. When she tells you what her secret party trick is, sometimes, on a very rare occasion, like it depends really on what your save file has, because I said the questions are quite randomized here and there, she will say that her favorite party trick is performing a scary striptease. I kid you not, this is in a kid game, like, you know, this is in a game for children, I say. For like Banjo-Kazooie, and I'm like, wait, what? Why is this in an E-rated game talking about a striptease? But whatever, it's Rareware, I guess they could do whatever they wanted back in the day. And I'm actually really surprised to find that they didn't really censor this as well when porting it over to the Xbox 360 version. Like, a lot of the things that they say are still present. Like, even in Banjo-Tooie, some of the dodgy things that I've seen for the dialogue. In the XBLA, it's still there, so, you know, the more you know, I guess. Now, I know I did just go to Bottles and basically get this new move for me, but I don't really want to clear Bubblegloop Swamp at the minute. I could, if I wanted, get the upgrade from Bottles and then make my way over to Bubblegloop Swamp and then just proceed through a level. But there is one little thing I always like to do to save me a hell of a lot of backtracking when it comes to it. Because the first time you play through Bubblegloop Swamp, it's always hard to say this name, goddammit! Bubblegloop Swamp, it's really not that hard. But when you actually do get the upgrade from him, you'll just like proceed on through the normal side of a level, collect all the jiggies and whatnot. But I've learned that, particularly if you're trying to get a good time on this game, like I'm trying to do throughout this whole LP, it's better to come to this place first, not only to activate this section of jigsaws right here to unlock the next world known as Freeze Easy Peak, except I do believe you can do that when we get back to this area. Why will we be getting back to this area? You'll find it out or so. But one thing I want to do is break this rock. That's literally the reason why I came down here. That rock right there can get very annoying, particularly because there's a later part of Bubblegloop Swamp that we're going to be coming back to this area. I'm trying my absolute best not to spoil why, again, for people who have never played this, but you know, sometimes it's hard here and there. But just keep that in mind, you know? If you're playing along with me, break this rock first. It will save you a lot of backtracking or so. But without further ado, let's just go on to Bubblegloop Swamp and see what there is. And I will be honest, Bubblegloop Swamp, I love the level, I love the design, I like everything about it, but oh boy. It's the level that I dread sometimes, mainly for 2 reasons, and you'll see what I mean when we get to those. I think, actually, in this episode, we're going to see one of them, and then the second one is in the second part of this, because like I said, you know, this level goes on for far too long. I did a full time on this when I was playing through this game in my practice file, and yeah, it's too long. Because that's how this LP is working out. What I do is, I'm talking about a lot of the behind the scenes stuff for this, really. But what I do is I play through the game normally in like my casual run and my practice file, and then I time how long the episode takes. So while I'm playing the game, I'll have a timer next to me, just so that then I'll be like, okay, how can I split up this level just so that then, you know, the episode duration is fair, and knowing what to show off, how much time I have left, etc. And the total it took for me to go to the bit, break the rock, and complete Bubblegloop and go to the next area, or at least open a portion of it, was really long. So, you know, I don't really want to talk about that for too long, though. Oh, by the way, if my upload schedule has been kind of scaring you as of late, because you might have noticed, yeah, sure, it's Banjo-Kazooie, it's one of my favourite games ever, but the upload schedule has been a bit all over the place. Because this one took like about a week in order for it to come out. The main reason why is because, for now, I don't like to just record LPs just like anytime, any day. I need to record and commentate. Well, actually, more commentate. Like, recording the gameplay is fine. I'm up for that any day. But when recording commentary, I gotta feel like I wanna talk through Banjo-Kazooie, you know? I can't just force myself to actually do Banjo-Kazooie because I genuinely need to feel excited and like I want to talk about it. I can't kick myself on a day and be like, no, I'm recording Banjo-Kazooie, I've got to do it. No, I've got to feel it. I got to feel that genuinely in order for it to be a successful episode. Otherwise, if I force myself to talk about Banjo-Kazooie, it's not going to be as fun for me, and my commentary just isn't that going to be, you know, as much good, really. But still. Also, we've collected some of the first jigsaws here and there. Actually, no, they're known as jiggies. Sometimes I do call them jigsaws or jiggies. It's the same thing, isn't it? Except the real term for them is known as jiggies, if you will. One reason why I actually decided to ground pound that is to show off the fact that the timer that you see on the bottom left actually resets when you do that. Again, HoneyComb discovered this, because in our project, out of curiosity, he just ground pounded it, and it did that. And I thought, oh wow, cool, it actually resets the timer. So, often, if you find that you do screw up on that, you don't have to wait for the timer to reset and then hit the switch again. You can literally ground pound it while it's down, and then it will still keep in mind that, you know, it means it has to reset the timer. Oh, and also I screwed up here because look! Yes, I managed to just fall off in the very end there. The main reason why I blame that happened is because of the camera controls. And what I mean by that is, on the XBLA version, the camera controls are a bit different compared to the N64. You see, in the N64, you use the C buttons, so you move the camera left and right, and basically it swings around at a certain momentum for you, and you have to adapt to that. But the XBLA, you have full control of the camera, like moving it to the left and right, adjusting the speed, etc. And I'm more used to the N64 version for its like sense of momentum and everything. And I think that's the reason why I fell off that edge, because I rarely have any times in the N64 version when I fall off like that. But still. Also, this fight is a hell of a lot easier when you have those feathers. God damn, look at this. You don't even have to try. You can just activate your feathers and that's it, I've already won. Believe me, like this will be so handy for you later throughout the game when you get to these type of segments. When you have those gold feathers, it's just a bliss. When you come to those bits and sections, you mainly want to make sure that you have or are fully equipped with gold feathers. Like anytime you're low on gold feathers and if you see one, just get it. Like seriously, gold feathers really do help you out a lot in this game. I do think people often underestimate how useful those gold feathers are. They have saved me a lot of times in this game. Not only just for the fact that you become invincible, but you know what I talked about in Clanker's Cavern, where you don't take any falling damage. Ah, by the way, that Gruntilda switch I activated right there, we can actually get that by sequence breaking. So we're actually supposed to use this jumping mechanic in order to go into Gruntilda, and then we collect Jiggy that way. And we're actually supposed to do this later on by activating a certain mechanic. However, I found a way where you can actually use the jumping mechanic and then get it at a much earlier time, which I think is pretty cool. I guess another thing I could talk about is the Mumbo tokens. And that's even though you do need to collect all of the jiggies and the musical notes to get the 100% ending and whatnot. For the Mumbo tokens, it doesn't really matter. And I really like the placements for the Mumbo tokens because while you are collecting the notes and the jiggies, you'll just notice this Mumbo token in the back and you'll be like, oh, cool, Mumbo token. I guess I'll just collect that while I'm on my way down there, you know? And I really like that also, as the 100% ending, you don't need to find every single one. So, I probably still, to this day, have not found absolutely every single Mumbo token. There are some that I miss out on, but it's just, you know, it's not a necessity to collect. You don't have to collect every single one. You can just collect a couple, and then as long as you got enough to transform into the creature that Mumbo turns you into, you're fine with it. And that's pretty much all the Mumbo tokens do, by the way. I'm really glad though I got this place memorized for like the locations of the crocodiles, because the first time, if you don't pay attention to where those crocodiles warp to on like the pictures that you see, that's gonna give you a bit of an issue. Because then you're gonna wander around the level and be like, wait, where's the other crocodile going? So I don't know. Like, I always find that like a bit of an issue or so for like people who don't really have a good span of attention. Like, if you don't have a good span of attention in this game, you're going to struggle a lot. Which I did, actually. While I did play this game and really enjoy it, yeah, the first time experience, I did struggle a bit here and there because I'm oblivious. I'm very oblivious in life and whatnot. I suppose another bit of criticism I could bring up while we're going through Bubblegloop Swamp is a thing that really grinds my gears. And believe me, like, this is only just personally for me, like, other people probably don't mind this, and that is the fact that when you use the wading boots, I don't know if you noticed back there, but I took a hit from the enemy. And that's because when you press B and cancel out of the move, you basically still stay in the animation, and then it registers as like a hit point for you. Meaning that I basically took a hit, even though I didn't mean to. And that really bugs me, because I blame the animation for that. If the animation was a lot faster, I could have jumped out of that and not risked taking a hit, but it happened, and that's a real pain. Or maybe it's just me being stupid, I don't know. I don't even know if the wading boots are actually in Banjo-Tooie at all. I mean, I've played Banjo-Tooie. In fact, I did a one-off Let's Plays blind edition of it last year, was it? No, it was about 2 years ago, actually. Wow. Blimey hell, was that long ago? Jeez, and I still haven't been in it? What the hell am I doing with my life? But even though I have played it and that, I don't know. I don't know if the wading boots are actually in that or not. I know some things remain from Banjo-Kazooie for Banjo-Tooie, but there are a few new elements introduced here and there. But I mean, it would do, wouldn't it? It's a freaking sequel. Of course it's gonna do that. Tank tub's warm at last. Perhaps you'd like this. Yeah, that would be really nice. There is a reason, by the way, why I just read the character's name, and, well, the reason, the ending. Believe me, you're gonna need it. We are really gonna need all this information when we get to the final boss. But before we go into Tank Tub, because even though he did give us a Jiggy, this now means that we can venture inside of him. I really like how Banjo-Kazooie does that. Like, you do one thing, and then it leads you to an entirely new area for basically helping out that one friend. It's just so rewarding, this game. I love it. But oh boy, we're on the bit that I talked about at the beginning, where I said the part that I always dread. Welcome to the musical minigame. Yeah, there's a musical minigame in this. Pretty weird, isn't it? Quiet, please. The famous Tip Top Choir will now perform my latest work. Okay, so when I say a musical memory game, this means that you have to memorize some of the notes that these turtles perform. Or tortoises, shall I say, because they're not turtles. They're not under the ocean, they're on the ground, meaning they are tortoises. Alright, so let's see if I've got this memorized or so. I haven't really got this memorized while talking, because half the time when I'm talking I tend to look away from the screen. And if you look away from the screen while trying to look at this game, that can screw you up. However, if you do actually forget the combination of the tortoises with all the musical cues going on, you can actually go back up to Tip Top the tortoise. It's really hard not to say turtle, because it's just a lot quicker and more efficient. He will basically repeat the same thing for you again. and I forgot about this midway through the recording, meaning throughout this episode you're gonna see me screw up a lot here and there. Like, look at me trying to remember the thing that he told me, and I'm just, oh god, I'm panicked or so. I was recording this late at night and I just wasn't getting it for some reason. I forgot that you could just go up to Tip Top and he'd tell you it again. I mean, look, I was like, oh yeah, no, I forgot you could just go up and he told you it again. And by that time I lost so many honeycombs, it was too late. Really? Alright, so let's see. It's dark blue, yellow, light blue, purple I think that is, and red. I couldn't really tell because of like the weird saturation that my computer monitor has. Like, it doesn't help, it all blends in and stuff. I am very thankful then. I did not play Banjo-Kazooie on my computer monitor, and I played it on a TV where I could see the proper colours. That's a lot better. Alright, so it's red, and yeah, cool, so I got that one down. Ah, splendid. You just need one more lesson. Damn slow dialogue every time. This is always a thing. Like, you might have noticed it with Gruntilda or Brentilda when I was reading the dialogue. Because the dialogue goes by so slow, it makes the last line that I say extremely awkward. And I hate it, what can I say? But anyway, well, you're about to see what happens or so when I'm trying to do this musical memory game. I have one more honeycomb left, so I go over and I read to see what Tip Top has to say, just that, and then I got it at the back of my mind. Really, I should have just kept going up to him, like all the time. If I just was not sure, not certain, just go up to him. There's no problem. I was worried more about, oh, I don't want the episode to go on for too long, so I just, like I say, I just panicked, and things happened, which was a real shame. There's also a lot of slowdown in this place. I don't know why. All I'm doing is like ground pounding on tortoises. And yes, I hit the wrong one and got a death. What's wrong, Banjo? Is it tough? Let me know when you've had enough. So yeah, I screwed up. I know you can laugh at me all you want, but I'm not good at musical memory games. It's one of my true weaknesses in video games. And the fact that it's present in my second favourite game of all time is rather a shame. It's not to say though it's bad. I mean, it's memorable. It means that every time I get to this area, I'm always going to be like, oh no, I've got the musical memory game coming up. The fact that it's in the back of my mind whenever I think of Banjo-Kazooie is a good thing. I mean, sure, I don't like it because, you know, I'd rather just be getting on with the main side of the game. It's still cool to have it. It really is. So that's rather nifty right there. And also, one thing that's kind of strange, really, is this also gives me a perfect time to talk about the differences between the N64 and XBLA. Because when I died, you might have noticed that while I was going through the level, all the notes had disappeared. Like I said before, when you die in the XBLA version, all those notes, they go for good. They are always with you. Whereas, if I flip over to the N64 version for a second, you can see that when I die on a certain part of this and go back to the level, all the notes are there again. So when you die, all the notes are reset. If you try to collect to 100 and you die, you need to do it all over again. And this sucks for later levels, believe me, but I love it. It adds to the sense of challenge and everything, and I just think it's a lot better than the XBLA version, in my opinion. But anyway, let's just go back to the Xbox 360 version. Okay, so have I got this one down this time? Hopefully I have. Because, I don't know, it's been a while since I've actually seen this footage or so, and it does make a change though doing post-commentary on this. It makes the series a hell of a lot freaking easier, that's for sure. Not quite. Did I do the blue one next? Yes, I did, and no, I don't think I got it. I was going to say, eventually I did go up to Tip Top. At some point I did anyway. What am I even doing? Jesus! The fact that I recorded my own gameplay and I can't even remember what the hell I'm doing just shows how unorganized I was for this episode. But like I said, like, when things happen, I have to deal with it. There's no going back. That's the thing, that's the real shame in this. This is why half the time I kind of wish I was doing an LP of the N64 version, because then I could be like, I'm gonna die, and then it's gonna like put all the musical notes back. But then again, I think even when I do that, the Jiggy's in that stage. So even if I was doing the N64 version, you know, it's just, it's hard work. What can I say? Okay, right. Maybe now I've actually got it memorized. I think at that point, I was like, okay, you know, forget it. I'm just going to keep talking to Tip-Top until I've got the hang of it. The common sense actually kicked into me at that point, instead of having my mindset on duration and recordings like it always usually is. It really does not help though with the slowdown. I don't know why that happens. Like all the other times in Banjo-Kazooie, at least on the XBLA version, there's no slowdown going on. But there was in this one bit. And it had to be when I was struggling, so it was making the tension even worse for me, you know? And finally, I did it. Magnificent. A true masterpiece. Here, take this trinket I found earlier. Hey, wow! I actually managed to read dialogue and make it sound like it was actually all connected instead of that one awkward line at the end. That makes a change. That's more of a bigger achievement for me than actually finishing the musical minigame, so that's saying something right there, isn't it? But there you go, there's the minigame that I loathe. But it makes it memorable, what can I say? And this marks the end of this episode here. So take care guys, and I'll see you in the next one.